It's People to People, the People podcast of the DMV. It's not about you, it's not about me, it's about we and God we trust. Sir Rod and Lady Z, PTP.
Positive thinking people.
PTP.
Positive thinking
People to People,
power to power.
positive thinking people.
Every Monday night,
Every Monday,
every Wednesday night,
every Wednesday,
every Friday night,
Friday,
every Monday night, every
Monday,
Wednesday night.
Hello. Welcome. Welcome, it's People to People with Rodney Primes. I know that y'all know we running late and it's okay. It's Let's Talk About It Wednesday. I gotta do what I gotta do. You know, when I come in here, I be making things happen because this is what I have to do. So, all I can just tell y'all, I just want you to hang in there with me as I get myself straight. We just had some filming going on, and I'm just pumped up where we at and what's going on. It's Let's Talk About It Wednesday. I got somebody in here that I don't care what your subject is. This man can talk about it, and I'm excited whenever I have him. So lucky that I was able to work with him in the studio today and make some things happen. And you know, we was doing good. We was doing good. So without further ado, guess what? What I'm going to tell you is I'm going to introduce the man, Mr. Nate Jenkins. What's up, bro? What's up?
Man, what's up, my brother?
How's everything, man?
Man, always good to be here, man. See, I've been here all day.
Yeah,
But it's been good. It's been a good day.
We've been in here working.
Working, man. Working, keeping it positive, keeping it going.
Yes.
We had some work to do with filming for some training for a government entity, trying to get more people involved in the higher echelons of government employment. You know, a lot of people come into the government, they come in at GS 6, 7, and might get up to the 9 or 10. If they're fortunate, they become a 12 or 13, but then they plateau out and they end up retiring from there. But it's other stuff like SES, you know, which they're senior level executive service positions, those chief of staffs and CIOs and undersecretaries and all these types of things. These people making 6-figure and better type of income. So the work we was doing today was helping to create that pipeline. So that's a good piece.
Well, like always, man, you always doing something. You always doing something to help people. You've been doing that ever since I've known you. One of the things I probably want to bring to the forefront right today, you know, I was having a little conversation with you earlier. We have some personal man talk. And I want to appreciate, you know, the information you shared with me, you know, when we was just talking about just, you know, getting into self, understanding how to move forward, don't fall back. Something we talked about that a lot of people are probably feeling like they are in this situation about drowning.
Right.
And I like what you shared with me today, man. That was so profound. I told you I was going to use it.
Yeah, you did. Yeah,
And I told you I was drowning, but can you tell me how you responded to what I said?
Sure. So when you told me you was drowning, I went into my belief system in regards to being overwhelmed, right? So if you think about a person that's drowning is an activity, right? You actively trying to not go under. So if you drowning, you tread in water, you either swimming towards the resolution, towards the shore, or you drifting out to sea towards death. So if you find yourself drowning, it's not a bad place to be.
Right.
Because you survived it.
Right.
If you find yourself overwhelmed, what happened is a lot of people look at being overwhelmed as the end, when it could be just the beginning of something greater than what you are challenged with. You know, it's all about perception. So if I find myself feeling overwhelmed, I'm drowning in something, I got one or two choices. Either I'm gonna keep pedaling and stay in that situation, keep talking about it, not doing nothing about it, informing people like I want people to throw me a life raft, right? or I can swim towards the help. Tell people I need help, then reach out to that help and activate whatever the help tells me that I need to do. Or I can keep doing what I've been doing that got me into the situation to start with, which is closer to going backwards, which is close to an ending, which is closer to death. So I have to make a decision while I'm in this drowning scenario. So the first thing I got to understand is the thoughts, the actions, my behavior that got me into this can't be the same that get me out of it.
Well, one of the things that also that I was really excited about, and I'm in a, you know, being in my age, I remember people say you can't teach your old dog new tricks, and I always put a reverse on that. You can teach your old dog new tricks as long as the dog still can walk and breathe. You know, you can teach him, and so when I say that, I'm speaking about myself. And when I thought about what I was saying to you today, that's why a lot of times when we have these conversations, man, you always stimulate me with your thoughts, which I think is really profound. And I like being around people who don't look at the bad side of everything.
Well, let me tell you, you can't teach your old dog new tricks.
Why not?
But you can teach him new behaviors.
Okay.
You can teach him new ways to do things. That's not a trick.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
So in order to teach a dog a trick, you gotta show him how to do the trick, then reward him for doing the trick, which will make him want to do the trick more.
Right.
That only happens when they're a puppy. Once he become a thinking animal, dog, he natural instincts say, I don't never want to be trained like that again.
Okay.
You can't show me something, expect me to do it again, then give me a treat and want me to do it again. So when you hear that proverb that you can't teach an old dog a new trick, it is true. But what you can teach a dog to do is something new.
And have new behavior.
New behaviors. He don't have to be rewarded to repeat something
right.
detrimental or anything of that nature. So that is a true statement. It's just that we use it in a different and wrong climate.
Right.
And we do a lot of that in society, right? Because we don't do a whole lot of investigation. We do a whole lot of assimilation. I mean, I'm a copycat, right? I'm going to do what I think you doing or something close to it, and I hope I get the results that you got.
Right.
So it's kind of like if from me, I'm from the street. So if we was on the street corner and I seen a cat ride by in a nice Cadillac with some women and he got money, I'm going to assimilate what I think he did to get that. Very simple. I stop that car and say, hey dude, teach me how you got what you have. See, that's learning. So I would learn the ups and the downs of his life, and then I can make a conscious decision if I want to participate.
Well,
but if I assimilate, I'm only seeing the good side of it and getting only half of the story. I end up getting my butt turned inside out because when the bad part of his life story shows up in my life, I'm not prepared for it.
Well, something else that we was chatting about earlier too is that situation where we was talking about pride.
Mhm.
Also, you know, we was having some powerful conversation today.
That pride thing.
That pride thing, man, is something.
I told you about the
horse.
analog to the pride. It's like the horse. So for those of us who watch Western movies coming up, you always had this joker who thought he knew more than everybody. He was the gunslinger. He was this, that, and the third. He would jump on the horse and ride out of town in glory. And at some point near the end of the movie, that horse ended up dragging that raggedy body back to town. Right? So that horse represents pride. When we think we really got it going on, we full of ourselves, we jump on that pride and we ride out into the sunset. But when we get out into real life and life starts to beat us up, the only thing we got left is that pride we left with. And that pride gonna have to drag our little dusty butts back into the environment that we were so prideful when we left from. So if you can picture that horse dragging that body back. So you gotta understand that one or two things that happen to a dude that ride off on a horse. Either he gonna ride off into glory and bring back help, bring back money or wealth to the place he left, right? Because he left, the horse was transportation, it wasn't pride.
Amen.
But the prideful dude who rode off on that horse called pride, he didn't want to end up going out in the battle unprepared, get shot up or whatever, and then the horse got to drag his butt back in. So I know a lot of times we find ourselves, I know I have, in my lifetime, in a very prideful scenario, just went out there like I'm that dude right now, and I'm that man right now. I'm not looking at the whole picture. I'm just looking at the wealth I've accumulated, the adulations and the fans that I got in the neighborhood, and I'm trying to carry that out into the world and think the world gonna treat me accordingly. Now you get out there in the world, they don't know, people don't care nothing about you. They don't know who you are, and you out there saying things like they don't know who I am. How they talking to me? They don't know well, they don't know who you are. So you end up out there promoting yourself to people with closed ears, closed eyes. They don't have nothing to do with what you promoting, and you end up in the back of the line.
But here, a lot of us struggle with this aspect of not knowing how to go ask for help.
Mm-hmm.
We get in situations where many people have turned their back to you,
Mm-hmm.
and then you get this sense of pride, say, well, I'm going to do it all by myself, which we realize also that's another thing that causes us the downfall, because you really can't do anything by yourself. I don't care what it is. If you write a book, you need people to buy it and read it. If you open up a grocery store, you need people to come in there and buy groceries so you can sustain your business. If you open up a laundromat, you need people to go put quarters in the machine or dollars or whatever the case may be. But you always need somebody. It's almost even like a pastor who goes to a church or a building, and he's starting a congregation. He needs people to come in so that he'll be able to move forward. And a lot of us fall into positions where we do not understand that you got to reach out for help and let the pride go and go out and say, hey, I need your help. I need you to do this. And I'm saying that also when we're talking about parenting, when we're talking about mentoring, when we're talking about trying to change our lifestyle and things like that. We got to go out and ask people for help, and we got to utilize programs like what we have, like the People to People program, and also we got Men in the Mirror that comes on every last Thursday of the month. Tomorrow, yeah. So y'all want to make sure y'all tune in tomorrow. We're going to have Man in the Mirror is where your health is your wealth, and that's another powerful conversation we're talking about. But today, when I was just meditating and I was sitting alone before you came into the studio, I was thinking about so many things, and then when I thought about what I said to you, sometimes you have a tendency to be thinking in your mind to play the trick on you, and I was like, man, there's so much going on around me, and a lot of things is happening, and I kind of felt like I was drowning, right? But I realized something after talking to you, and as I walked off and I went to the bathroom and I went to get something to drink or whatever, I realized with me in the process of considering myself drowning, I'm dog pedaling. Mm-hmm. That means I'm surviving. I'm still in there.
Yeah,
and I'm not drowning per se, because I'm not dying. Actually, I'm not falling backwards. I'm just at a position where I have to learn how to reach out for more information, reach out for help, keep pushing, because eventually, even in the dog pedaling, I learned this when I was in the Marine Corps, when we were dog pedaling. After a while, you dog pedal for a while, you get your second wind in, you start to swimming again.
Yeah.
And so you have to swim out to help. But I'm going to tell you something else you said today I'm going to bring it up too. I was listening to you. You talked about the tide when you're going through that process. Mm-hmm. Talk about that.
So you got to understand, life is kind of like, you're in the water. So when you're in the water of the ocean, the tide, people think the tide taking you to the shore. It's really taking you back out to sea, right? So if you just straddling, dog pedaling, and not trying to get to the shore, you're just trying to survive, the tide's going to keep pulling you away from your help, right? Not towards the help. So you got to put the efforts in to get towards the help. Now I want to say this, and we talked a little bit about this, from a Christian mindset. I don't need nobody. I got into this. I'm going to get out of it. All that pridefulness, right? But as Christians, we always thought Jesus was perfect. But even he needed some help. Because when he was carrying that cross, he stumbled. A guy out the crowd came and helped him continue his walk with that cross to his crucifixion. So if Jesus needed some help, what makes us think we don't need help? We better than God now, all of a sudden, right? If Jesus, the purest of pure, as we think in a Christian society, needed help, who am I not to need help? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with needing help. Here's the problem with people of pride and help. We treat help as if it's a negative thing. We treat drowning as it's the end. It is really the beginning of something new, something refreshing, something that you haven't thought about on your own, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, there's some epithets about, you hear these little epithets about a guy was treading water, he fell off a boat, and he prayed to God, you know, to help him. He got to an island, and he prayed to get off the island. Somebody came in a shipwrecked vessel, you know, and said, jump on my raft, you can get off. He's like, man, I'm not getting on that thing. We're going to drown before we get out of here.
Yeah.
Then somebody came by in a speedboat. He tried to wave them down. They waved back out, and they kept speeding past him, right? Then he seen a cruise ship way, way out there, and he tried to paddle his way out to the cruise ship, almost drowned trying to get there. But then here come the dude in the shipwreck, the tide that brought him back to the island, right? And he praying, God, why you ain't send me no help? He said, I sent you the dude on the shipwreck raft. It was floating. It came to get you, and you denied it because it didn't come in a package
The way he
the
wanted.
way he wanted it. See, our help comes the way it comes. If you could dictate the way your help comes, then you probably shouldn't be in no problems. You dig what I'm
Right,
saying?
yeah.
So the other part of it is telling your help how to help you. Have you ever had the scenario where you go help somebody and they're gonna tell you how to do it or what they not gonna do? When you say, man, try, nah, I ain't doing that. Well, how much help do you want? If you're gonna tell me what you're not gonna do, you might well stay where you at.
Or why am I here? If you got it, then you don't need me.
So the same mind that got you into the problem can't be the same mind that get you out. Because if that's the case, you would never been in the problem to start with. So here's the thing about help, man. Here's the thing about drowning. Here's the thing about pride and all of that. We were born with all of that. Vanity, all those sins, all those negative behaviors are innate to a human being. But we've also been born with resilience, resolution, character, and courage. That's the big one, man. Because see, courage is the act of going on in spite of. You gotta have courage to be able to reach to somebody who you think is not as good as you, not on your level, not on your social, economic, or behavioral status, to think that they can provide you with some assistance beyond what you can provide yourself. So I'll give you this funny story, right? So I used to carry these therapeutic meetings to this group of people that were in a mental institution. And I thought I was the most sane person in the room, right? So I go there and I'm giving them all this good information, but I was going through a divorce at the time. And in that information, I would always throw pot shots out about my ex-wife and how she was hurting me and so forth and so on. I did that for about 3 weeks. And I guess the folks in the mental health community got tired of hearing it. So one of the guys raised his hand and said, look, I don't want to hear no more about your wife. Either you're going to do something about it, shit, or get off the pot. And I'm looking at this dude who is on medication, slobbering out his mouth, can barely put a sentence together, that I think I'm mentally way above him, tell me exactly what I needed to hear to get out of my situation. Initially, my response was in my mind, who the hell he talking to? He in this mental health institution. I'm bringing him help.
Yeah.
But then I had to sit back and hear what he said. And he really told me what to do.
Yeah.
Shit or get off the pot.
Yeah.
Either go do something to get her back or leave it alone.
Right.
Move on.
Yeah.
What's the message? So I ended up getting her back. Right? But then years later, it didn't work out. So maybe I should took his other advice.
You did.
But
Left it low.
But what I'm saying is, when you offer yourself out, when you expose yourself, it is one of the most cleansing activities you can do. I've heard people say the people who need people are the luckiest people in the world.
Yeah.
I've heard people say the more hands in it, the less work you got to do. So the more help I get, the less I got to do, personally, myself. I ain't got to think how to dig our way out of this hole. When somebody got out of the hole before me can tell me
How to do it.
how to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like you in a hole and you don't know how to get out, and somebody say, well, stick your foot in that crevice in the wall right there like a step and climb your way out. Well, how did he know how to do that? Because he was once in the hole before.
You know, something else that really gets to me too. It's Let's Talk About It Wednesday here. You're just joining in. This is People to People with Rodney Grimes. I'm excited anytime to come out, because what we try to do is bring positive information to you, change the way you're thinking. And this is not because we know superheroes or we know philosophers and we write about everything. We just use common sense, deal with the true facts and things like some of the things we experience. I've been thinking about, how we are transitioning into the way that the economy is moving and the way we are moving in the world. And there's been a lot of people who have become real selfish. They've become, it's all about me. And they don't realize that what they're doing is they're shutting down their blessings when they're not being able to come out with an open heart and with a hand to say, hey, I can help you. I can help you succeed. I can help you do this. And it's many of us like myself that in some cases I found myself trying to say, okay, things got a little rough. And I use that terminology, drowning. Which something that I'm starting to practice too is watch what I put into the air. Watch what I say out my mouth. Watch how I say certain things, because for real, I'm surviving. I should have said I was dog pedaling, and I'm trying to get my stroke back.
Was correct. You gotta understand that at every moment in your life, you are exactly where you're supposed to be. Now, what you do at that moment and where you go is based upon the courage to make the decisions to get you from that place. It's my belief. So if you were drowning, it's fine. But do I swim to the shore, or do I let the tide take me away from my help?
Right.
So I got to make a constant decision. Now, a lot of my life experiences, because I'm a very prideful person, 10 times worse earlier in my life than I am today, only because pride had led me to places where no man should ever go. Down some very dark corridors, some very dark alleys that I need assistance to get out of those dark places. Because I walk down there freely, chasing pipe dreams, chasing other people's success, thinking that I could have the same without understanding the work that it took for them to be successful. And because they look successful, don't mean they successful.
Right.
Okay, success is dressed in a whole lot of different ways.
Yeah.
But what is success? So when I got to the business world, I had a guy, multi-billionaire, ask me a question. And he says, Nate, which one of these two companies are successful? The one that was opened up for 1 year and made $1 million? Or the one that's been open for 10 years and made $1 million? My initial response was, the one that was open for 1 year and made $1 million. And he said to me, well, if they was open for 1 year and they made $1 million, that's all they ever made. But the guy that's been open for 10 years and made $1 million over the course of 10 years, he's still open. His prospect for the future is that he's gonna have 1,100,000 next year.
Right.
The guy with the $1 million that closed his doors, he still got $1 million.
Yeah.
He out of business.
Yeah.
So success looks different
In different ways.
and for other people.
Yeah.
But one thing I did learn in my last 30 plus years of living, I like the last 30 years of living, because I've been living a different way of life, is that I need to consider the source. When I look at something that or someone that I believe is more successful than I, or I want to be like them, or I want to be in the same lane that they're in, I need to investigate what it takes to be there. I need to drop my pride and say, Joe, I like what you're doing. How'd you get there? Not what you're doing now, but how'd you get there? When he tells me those painstaking tasks that he got to go through, when he tells me that, man, I had to sacrifice family because I was so business oriented. Now I'm in my 60s and I don't have the family nucleus around me. Then I got to look at myself, who have a great family around me, and say, I'd rather have my level of success and peace than his riches.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, when I get old and disease and old age set in, I'm going to have some folks to help me out.
Yeah.
Dollars will not come from the bank and help you on your walker.
Right.
Wipe your tail when you got dementia. Money won't do it. Your money will hire people, but guess what? They gonna be there for 6 to 8 hours.
Yeah.
It's 24 hours a day. Who's gonna help you them other hours?
Yeah.
You understand?
You have to have them loved ones.
You got to, man. So success wears different coats. But it's a personal choice that we make every day what success means to us. Now, when you talked about being selfish and self-centered, the way that we are in society today, I believe it's because we allowed the nuclear of the family to be broken down and encroached upon by society. And what that means for me is, earlier on in our earlier generation, when we were kids, we were taught that the village raised the child. It was more important to be a part of the village than be the village crier, right? The one making all the noise. It was more important to be a part of something. But as we've gotten into this social climate with likes and comments being more from strangers that you never gonna meet,
Right.
never gonna see, it's all on the internet, that means more to you than a hug from a friend or a handshake or a wink of an eye or a call on the telephone, hey, how you doing, or even a text. When those things outweigh that communication touch that you get from people in your circle, then you're off balance. And what happens with success is you start looking at success on a computer screen that's really not real, because half those folks, they don't have that shit that you looking at.
Yeah.
Those cars are rented. Those houses are somewhere they just stood in front of and took a picture of and made a caption of. I've seen people in my walking, in my travels, that I've seen on the internet posing with a Rolls Royce in front of a mansion. Then I seen that same person working at McDonald's. And I was like, damn, you look familiar. And they shy away. That's the, come on, man. I thought you was a millionaire. Or like the African dude who got busted 2 years ago for all this scamming, because he was trying to keep up with a lifestyle he was promoting online. But he was stealing from people. He didn't earn any of that money. He stole all that money, and like any good thief, you're going to get caught. When he got caught, he in jail now. He got to give all that back that he could recoup and give back. But he was trying to live and promote a lifestyle online that nobody could check because nobody was seeing him every day.
And speaking of when you were saying that, this is something else with society. We have got to the point where we got past this real physical connection of love and understanding. We look for that instant gratification on social media and things of that nature, TikTok or whatever you want to call it. I mean, let's just keep it real. The kids nowadays don't really want to play because they on their cell phones, they on their iPads and stuff like that. They don't want to go out and play baseball in the yard with the next door neighbor.
But it ain't their fault though, right?
I know it's not their fault, but I
was
mean, you're looking at where
look
we
at
at.
how it happened though. It was a concentrated effort, right, to dummy down the next generations. Because if you look at what happened when we were coming up, we got out of school, we had rec centers to go to. We have places to build our maturity rates, our maturation, physically, spiritually, and physically, and emotionally, right? But when they started closing down the rec centers and taking away programs, they created this void. And what happened was commercialization stepped in and said, I can sell to these young folks if I can keep them engaged. So I keep them engaged with TikTok and the games and so forth and so on. So early on, social media was a bunch of games. You were playing Farmville, you was playing Angry Birds, you was doing all this stuff. Then it evolved into this reality show business where we're going to show you what we believe your reality goals should be like, to be like these people.
Or this is
Right.
how people are.
This is how people are. A false sense of reality. Now we got you trying to obtain this reality, but we're not giving you any skill sets to get there.
Right.
So you're going to stumble your way through life trying to get somewhere where you can't go. Right? Or that's not even real once you get there. Right? So when they created that voice, social media did what it's supposed to do. It's social media. So media has turned from an informative standpoint when we were coming up. Media was all about teaching you things, informing you of things. And it's still doing the same thing, but it's not teaching you anything that's relevant to your growth.
Yeah.
It's just plain old entertainment. But because we have these voids in our lives, we're taking these entertainment value and making it news.
Well, let me come change our direction just a little bit, so for anybody that's tuning in, sit back and look at yourself and evaluate where you are, and understand that we all need to make changes. We need to look around and evaluate what's important and what's not. Shout out to my mom. My mom turned 92 Saturday.
Woo! Hallelujah.
Yes.
Yes.
And I'm gonna tell you something. When I was, we was singing "Happy Birthday" to my mother, I had this emotional thing going on in me, and it was something. Hold on, I got a caller. Hello, caller. State your name and where you calling from.
Calling from the living room of Jones' house.
I knew. Look. Hey, you hold on just a minute. That's Boo Jones.
Hey, you'll show tomorrow, man.
Man, you know he wasn't gonna let us be on here by ourselves. but hold on a minute, Boo. I want to finish something real quick. When I was looking at my mom who turned 92, I realized what was important. It really is the passion and love that we give to each other, and not to take it for granted. And I realized that was a blessing in itself.
Yeah, man.
Not just for my mom turning 92, but the fact that I had my mother for 62 years.
Yeah.
And I had to go back and look at that. And sometimes you have to regroup and just evaluate where you are and what your true blessings are. Hey, Boo, what's up with you, man? What's going on?
Man, ain't nothing, man. I was looking at the phone, I see you two kids. And Steve was telling me, chopping it up.
Yeah, man, he kidnapped me today, man. Came in here and he put me to work. We had to do some work, but while I had him in here, when I realized, I said, you know what? You ain't gonna get away that easy, Nate. Even though we got to do Man in the Mirror tomorrow, you gonna have to sit down with me. So, and we had some powerful conversation today that I said, you know what, man? I told him, I said, I'm gonna repeat what you said. And then I thought, here we go. I got him right here. Why don't I get him to just talk about it? Hey, Boo. Hey, so just from your perspective right now as well, how you looking at where we are, like as individuals walking around with the pride and the lack of confidence to come out to help one another? How you feel about that?
Man, I mean, just like I think I heard they said how it's getting more and more prevalent nowadays because this is where it was supposed to go. It's going as planned. So we just got to be the ones that stay humble and just do our part from wherever God put us at. Whatever it is. So like I said, for the Jones living room, I got to practice those principles in my life at all times. So, from my perspective, man, I just think that each individual, like we told the show tomorrow, That's basically where it's at. Put up the reflection, you know, and take a look and evaluate the man.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, hold on a second, boo. Don't go nowhere. I got a comment, Lady Z.
Yes, you have a couple. Marie Hughes says, "Hey Rodney, this is Horace Williams. I am Mr. Your Health is Your Wealth." Also, Joe Coleman says, "Powerful words, gentlemen."
All right, shout out to Joe Coleman. Very, very good man. One of the gentlemen I've been trying to follow in his footsteps for several years, man. Much love and respect to him. And Horace, we got Horace Williams. Horace, you need to call me tonight because you the guest on the show tomorrow. This is the gentleman to talk about your health is your wealth.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's supposed to be on the show tomorrow for Man in the Mirror. I hope he ain't gonna pull a trick on me. I'm putting down. You see, I'm putting it out there.
You put him on blast,
I put him on blast, didn't I? I just did. Him and he get a high. He's a powerful brother, man. Also, we got the Kings, Faustine and Charles King also just gonna participate tomorrow too. Happy birthday to RC. I wanted to put that out there. Happy birthday to you. That's one of the family members. But hey boo man, you know, since we all three of us right here, man, there's always some powerful conversation with us, man. I love what y'all have been bringing to the table with Man in the Mirror. You know, of course, I'm a part of that. We got Amy that's a part of that as well. What's been happening, man, we've been really bringing something to help people from the drowning.
Right.
We've been bringing people to a point where we're giving them information and knowledge about moving forward, how to change your lifestyle. We're talking about mental health that both of y'all have a lot of experience in. And all of these things has been good. So, you know, kudos to the program Man in the Mirror. Yo, you got to put it out there, man. Go ahead. Yes, sir.
You also have a lot of experience in mental health, man. Coming from the environment we come out of. I mean, hey, come on.
Yeah.
It was happening. We just didn't know it.
Well, you know, that all of us. I mean, one of the things that we do, we all come and have our different experiences. That was why today what was so powerful. God work in mysterious ways. Mm-hmm. One, bro, when you came in today, did you ask me to say, are you all right or something like that?
Yeah, I asked you, were you all right?
Right. And the knowledge that you shared with me, bro. I mean, how you just, you know, it was profound, man.
Well, it wasn't original. Let me just stop right there. It was not original because there's nothing new under the sun. Things aren't parked in you and parked in me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The places I've been, the folks I've associated myself with, things like that, I've been blessed enough to be a fool enough to have people teach me how to stop being a fool.
Yeah.
So my job is now to impart those teachings on others so they don't become fools. You know what I mean?
That's what, again, like I said, we be bringing to the table individuals. Welcome Malik and Tina, and who else is that? Dwayne.
Malik, Tina, and
Dana. Welcome for everybody just talking.
That's welcome Malik and Tina Dane. TT. That's TT.
Tina Dane.
Tina Dane.
That's
the way
a
you
family affair right there.
Okay.
Okay, that sounds like a nice couple.
Yeah.
Sound like a nice couple. I want to say this to you, man. You know, I'm not the most religious person in the world, but you know, it's a couple of scriptures that really come to mind when I think about helping folk and folk needing help as much as myself, right? And you know, we talked a little bit about that story about Lazarus.
Yeah.
You know, and in the Bible, you know, it always talk. You hear people talk about Jesus wept.
Right.
You know, so when did he weep? He only wept one time, and that's when he asked Lazarus to come back from the dead.
Come on, talk to me, bro.
And
talk to me.
it was taught to me that was a heck of an ask.
Yeah.
Because Lazarus was his buddy, his best friend. So when he was asking Lazarus to come back, people would say, well, why would he cry over that? He coming back to help him do a miracle. But you got to understand something. Lazarus was in heaven. And if you believe in the heaven that I believe in, he was having a heck of a good time.
Yes, come on now.
He was having the life that he's always dreamt to have, wanted to have. His desires were met. He had peace. And his good buddy was asking him to leave that to come back into this turmoil of the world that we live in today. Just to prove to a group of fools that God's power does exist in that man that we call Jesus.
Yes.
Jesus understood that I'm asking my friend to do the worst thing I can ask him to do.
Come on.
Right?
Yes.
But his friend, being a friend.
Come on. I love it.
Came on back.
You know.
Well, wait a minute. He didn't come back with any assurances or any prizes or any marketable test that's gonna say, you know, if you come back, I'm gonna do this for you.
Right.
I'm gonna bring you back in a different light. I'm gonna give you more riches. He came back as himself, as Lazarus.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, when you help people, right? It's like you doing alms. So you know, the left hand don't know what the right hand doing. If you truly helping somebody, it's not something that you need to brag or boast about. That's not called help.
Right.
That's self-promotion.
Yeah.
So if I help you, I help you. And the return factor to that is me helping you helps me.
Well, you know what? Again, it's so powerful when we just hear some positive information and we talk about these things. And this is for all of us, just to think, you know, sometimes God uses different people to put a message out there. We got to continue to help one another and do it for unselfish reasons. We got to get where we are looking to empower each other, because it's important for our survival. Hey, Boo.
Yes, sir.
Also, aren't you due for congratulations on something?
I guess the guy y'all talking about is you.
No, it's something this happened with you just recently.
Yeah, I said due to that guy that they was just talking about.
Oh, the dude that we talk about Jesus. The dude that talk about God.
So what happened, Boo? Let me know, baby.
Come on, talk to us.
Tell us about that miracle.
That blessing. Did I lose you, Boo? I think Boo done fell off.
Did we lose my man?
Yeah, he might call back. But
What was you talking about, the time, man?
nah, cause he just moved.
Oh, he got the house.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations.
Yeah. You know,
Yes, congratulations to the Jones family on their new abode.
Yeah.
But I want to tell you something, man. In my lifetime, I've owned several houses, buildings, and all kinds of stuff. Been blessed a lot. Well, I feel like I'm still in other people's blessings. I've been blessed so much sometimes. But it took a long time to get there, and it took a lot of hard work. But I'm going to tell you a message to those who've been blessed. You weren't blessed because it was your turn. You weren't blessed because you did some miraculous things. You was blessed so you could become a blessing
For somebody else.
for someone else. Because see, if I work hard and accumulate something that I've been trying to get, there's somebody out there working hard that hasn't accumulated anything, that needs to have that spark of watching me get what I'm getting, to have the courage for them to keep persevering through what they're going through so they can get to the blessing that's in the road for them. See, life is a journey, man. And we talked about that hole that we sometimes find ourselves in and we can't find a way out. But if you talk to someone who was once in a hole, they can tell you, stick your foot in the wall in that crevice and treat it like a ladder and climb out the hole. And they can tell you that with confidence because they were once in the hole, like you.
It's people to people, man, and look,
It's people to people tonight,
it's
baby.
people to people. Yeah, call the state your name, where you calling from. Hello. Hello. I bet you that might have been Boo trying to call back. He might got a bad connection somewhere. But
Well, the point that I'm making is, when you blessed, right? When you being blessed, when much is given, much is expected, right? So every time you get a blessing, relish in the fact that you've been blessed. Enjoy your blessing, but take care of that blessing. Beyond what you phantom to be, what you need to take care of, because you are now becoming a blessing to someone else, right?
yeah,
My demise allows someone else to show me a blessing.
yes,
My blessings allows me to show someone out of a demise. I don't get hurt for my own self, because it gives someone a chance to hurt and help me. And I don't help for my own self, because it gives me a chance to help somebody else. You know what I mean? So, like we said earlier, when Jesus stumbled with the cross, somebody had to come from the crowd to help him. Everybody didn't run out there to help him. One dude had the courage to say, "Man, I got that cross for you," and came out there and helped him walk the rest of that walk with that cross.
yeah,
So when we sitting in a spot where we're drowning, we're treading water, and we done reached out to 100 people and they done turned their back, they supposed to. They didn't have the help we were needing.
yeah,
They weren't capable within themselves, possibly, of helping us
yeah.
to the degree that God had designed for the help to help us.
Right.
We end up with help come from the hills, as it says, right? And it be in a package that we ain't even discovered yet.
Call the state your name and where you calling from.
It's Boo Jones.
Hey, I figured you was having some problem with that
Hey,
line. What's going
hey,
on with you, Boo?
Hey, Bujo, you gotta give up that Obama phone, man.
He got a flip.
You got a flip phone?
He got a flip phone.
Yeah.
Hey, I got one of those phones like the guy on the commercials. And how about this one?
Yeah, with the little antenna. You can't even trade that Joan in for a new Samsung, huh?
Right. They're not even gonna let you sign up on Cricket.
I don't know about that one.
Hey, Boo, I want to say to you, man, congratulations on the new house, man. And as I was saying to the listeners, man, each blessing is not only a testament to the work you had to do to get there, but a work that you have to do to stay there.
Yeah.
So, as much work it took you to get there, it's going to be twice the work to stay there, but you become so much of a blessing to people that watch you come from where you came from to where you are, that you encourage folks to turn around and do the same.
Long way from drop me off at grandma's house.
Yeah, it's a long way from me dropping you off in that alley telling me you go to grandma's house. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
and
man,
man, you got your own house.
Yeah, but that, you know what, man? Again, it's just the power of God, man, that He shows all of us that it's not in our time but in His.
Yeah.
And things have come. For everybody just tuning in, I just want you to know God is good, and stay focused and get to a point when, like my slogan is people to people, power to power, positive thinking people. The people to people, that's me, you, and them being whoever you want them to be. The power you possess, the power I possess, but the power we put together, and when we put it together in a positive way, we become positive thinking people. That's what happened with Nate was in here today.
I like to say to the guys, and I love you guys, man. And I see God in situations, man. Even though I might not acknowledge it all the time and give kudos at the right time, I'm flawed. So I just like to say it as often as I possibly get the chance to say it, man. That, I love the people God put in my life, good, bad, and different.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And that's what it's all about. You know, accepting people for who they are.
But you know one thing I believe, Boo? One thing I believe, Boo? I used to say good, bad, or indifference in regards to people, but what I understand as I keep maturing and growing is that every person God put in my life has been good for me. They might, the situations may not have been good. They might have been bad, they may have been indifferent. But the actual persons, it was all for, as they say, it was all for my good.
That's why I said it like that.
Yeah. I'm just piggybacking on you. I'm piggybacking on you.
Yeah, that's exactly why I said it.
Yeah, man. Good, bad, or indifferent, it was all for my good.
Yeah.
You know, but here's one thing I want to share with everybody, particularly while Boo is on the line, man. You know, we have all made choices throughout our lives that may have not been the most popular choices, right? Some people may have counted us out. Some people may have bet against us. But we serve a spiritual aspect that don't bet, that don't count. So we'll all get to a place where we need to be judged. And a good friend of mine said this weekend, he said, you know, when I go before that final judgment, I just got one hope, right? That he passed allocution on my past misgivings, right? I hope he don't judge me from what I did today and just give me a pass on some of that craziness I did before. Waive allocution. For those of us who've been in the penal system, we know what that means. I'm gonna waive allocution, meaning I'm not gonna hold your past misgivings against you in the judgment I'm about to place on you today. So I believe that when I get judged, I'm praying for a waiving of allocution, because I can't outlive some of the sins and transgressions that have already occurred. But what I can do from this breath forward is not repeat those sins and transgressions and try to clear the path for some of the garbage that I created on the way to today.
Yeah.
By not creating more garbage tomorrow. Another thing I want to say to everybody is stop taking the word no so personal. Right? Because when you look at the phrase not yet, the first part of not yet is the word no.
Yeah.
Right? Not for you. The first part of that word not is no. But there's a T and then space and other words behind it. So no is not the end of something. So when life tells you no, it's really not yet. It ain't your turn. You ain't ready yet. You understand? But we take no so personally, it makes us so bitter because we feel like we should get more than what we've gotten or be treated better than what we're being treated. And when someone or life just tells us no, we take this negative spin on it and we go down this rabbit hole backwards, right?
Hey,
So I would like everybody to take the no to mean not yet.
Hey, Nate,
Yes, sir.
I know somebody told you, as they told me, no was a complete sin.
Yeah.
It's just as valid as yes.
Yeah.
And if I'm gonna interject, and I want to say this, a lot of times people want to pass judgment when a person tell you no and think that they telling you no because they being mean. Get to a point where you don't be judging why they said what they said. It's almost like a person to come to you and they say, "Can I borrow $20?" and you mess around and say why, what you need it for. It's none of your business if you're gonna loan it to them
Or give it to them.
or give it to them. Don't worry about if they came and asked you.
So now you're not giving it to them, you signify.
You kind of, and I say that to
You
say
kind
this.
of bone.
Yeah,
You
because
signify.
a lot of people, what we do, even when somebody say no, you get in your feelings, but you don't know their situation. You don't know why they said no. You don't know, and it could be almost just God protecting you. Because sometimes what you want may not be what you need.
But if you really believe, but check this out, if you really believe in a God and have an understanding, how many times he blessed you, not in accordance to what you believe you should have had or what you deserve, but he just blessed you just because.
Yeah.
Why you in turn can't do the same
Same
for
for
another
the
person?
that's the other thing where we started. This is me anyway, and we gonna have to get ready to go. But I'm gonna tell you this. It's something that I said that I wanted to walk in the footsteps like I try to walk in the footsteps like Jesus. I'd like to walk in his footsteps like my Father God. Yeah, I'd like to walk in the footsteps the way that I want him to bless me. I want to be blessings for others. And when I say that, I come in a way where I'm saying I try not to be judgmental anymore. I try not to point my finger. Lady Z, I see you got something over there. You guys got a comment for me over there?
Yeah, we have a couple of comments.
Go ahead, give them to me.
Fatima Smith Coven says, yes, knowledge is power, share it. Won't God do it? Tina says, yes, God will do it. Tay Gray, your daughter's here.
Oh, my daughter's on there. Hey, Tay, how you doing, baby?
And Fatima says, said again, you're blessed to be a blessing. Much is required. Yes, you better teach, brother. Joe Coleman says, your past doesn't have to be your future. Receive the lessons and move forward in his time.
Come on now. I love it.
Yes, sir.
And if Joe's still on there, Joe, you know I got to get you in here. Joe Coleman is a professional singer. He's on my wall up here. He one of the gentlemen. That's actually Joe right here. Very, 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 very powerful man. I've learned a lot from him and intrigued with him on so many levels. And when you talking about a brother that can sing, you know,
He got
they do it. They're in a group called the Classic Soul. I think I said that.
Let me bow out and let you guys finish your show.
All right, we love you, man.
boo.
We'll see you tomorrow.
We'll see you tomorrow, boo. Thank you,
Let
man.
me just say this one thing, man. When I give alms, right? When I help someone unconditionally, I think of one phrase that they used to say on the corn. They said, man, if I got it, you can get it. I love to see you with it. Right? But the whole phrase of that is, if I got it, it's because God allowed me to get it. And if I give it to you, he still blesses me enough with some breath that I can get it again.
Right. So you don't have to be selfish.
The cycle of wealth is a cycle. It's a circle. It comes around and around. Don't interrupt the circle.
Yeah.
You know, my kids would always used to ask me when they was young, Dad, why you keep giving them homeless people money? You know they're going to get drunk and use drugs. I said, I hope that my dollar is the blessing that stops them from using.
And what they do with it.
Either they going to get some help, they get so high they get some help, or they get so high that they die. Either way is an ending to that suffering and misery that they living in.
Yeah.
So I don't care if you always hand it to them. I say, man, do something good with it. And when I say do something good with it, it might be, and don't take this the wrong way, you might be copping some good dope, or getting a good drink of alcohol, or you might go to get a meal. But whatever you do, whatever you believe is the good in you, make it happen. I just gave you something to help you get there.
Well, hey, I just want to say thank you for everybody that tuned in. We came in a little late today, but we still here. Let's talk about it Wednesday. You know, it's people to people. I'm excited. You can also see us on TEP TV on Roku. You also can go see us on LinkedIn. You can see us on YouTube, Facebook. Also, coming up in about a month or so, it's going to be another Roku channel coming out too. That is going to be
Off the rack.
off the
Off
rack
the rack TV.
off the rack TV. And I want you to remember something. When you feel like quitting, think about why you started.
Yeah.
When you feel like quitting, think about why you started, and remember this: anything that's easy, anything that just got dropped in your lap, it may not last long. But when you're struggling and you putting in that work, and you got to find that place to sticking your foot in and climb out of that hole, remember this: all you got to do is have the faith and believe and trust in God, and I promise you, it's gonna come out for your betterment. It's gonna come out as a blessing. Hey Nate, take me out, man. Give us some good conversation. We out of here. It's people to people.
It's real simple. It's real simple. Life gonna do what it do. Right? For people, here's something I was learned early on the last 30 years. For a guy like me, I hope you don't mind me cursing a little bit. Can I curse? You know, I was told by a great gentleman that, you know, Nate, for a guy like you, shit may never get better. Your job is to get better with the shit. And that's what I try to do on a daily basis. Get better with the shit.
Hey, you know, to all that's out there, no disrespect. Hey, Zena, you just took us out of there. Come on, Zena got over there and took us all the way. Did somebody give a comment? Oh, okay. Hey, thank you, Nate. I appreciate you, bro,
man,
coming in.
bless, buddy.
Man, give me.
I love you, man.
Yeah, you know that, bro. Man, ain't nothing but love.
Positive thinking people.
Yes.
Positive thinking people. Every Monday night.
Every Monday.
Every Wednesday night.
Every Wednesday.
Every Friday night.
Friday.
Monday night.
Monday.
Wednesday night.
Every Wednesday.
Friday night.
Friday.
Yeah, we have a pretty good show tomorrow, man.
Monday.
Wednesday night.
Wednesday.
So I gotta talk to you and make sure everything is straight.
Positive thinking people.
Call Steve and Charles, they gon' call me and get down to Delaware.
Positive thinking people.
Good stuff.
Positive thinking people. Positive thinking people.